we're bringing you all you need to succeed in the real estate business. It's Spilling the LT, brought to you by Lawyers Title, telling you what it's really like to work in real estate.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Tamara Gady. Today, we're going to have another episode in my Participate in Life Together series. I've got some amazing women here today to talk about women in business, and we're going to discuss challenges women face in striving for a work-life balance. But first, if you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So let's get a conversation going about your title needs. Welcome to the show, Kimberly Woodard. She is a realtor with Ebby Holiday. I also have Lisa Elliott, who is a realtor, and she's with the Hirschenberg Group out at Keller Williams South Lake. Kimberly has been in the real estate industry for 22 years and is a top producer at Ebby Holiday Realtors. She's also been married for 22 years and has two boys, one at A&M and one still in high school. Lisa Elliott is a top producer with the Hirschenberg Group at Keller Williams South Lake and has been in real estate for 6 years. She's been married for 33 years. She has two sons and two daughters, which are all grown. But when she started in real estate, she had 3 in college. So welcome to the show, Kimberly and Lisa. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited. I really like my Participate in Life Together series. A lot of my podcasts are real estate related, but every once in a while I find a really good topic to talk about that isn't necessarily real estate driven. So thank you so much. Welcome to the show, and let's get started.
Sounds good.
So Kimberly, I'm going to ask you the first question, and I'll probably bounce some of these questions back to both of you because I think you're going to have different responses. Before I ask that question, let's define work-life balance, okay?
Yeah, what is that balance? What's that definition?
Well, and I also think it's a little comical to talk about this in real estate because, real estate is more than a full-time job, as we know. But then I also think that's what makes the topic so interesting is because you ladies do have families and other things that you're doing outside of real estate. So you do have to really prioritize your time. Work-life balance is equal time or priority to personal and professional activities.
Wow.
So that is the definition.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if I like that definition.
So the first question I have, Kimberly, you go first, and we'll see what Lisa has to say if she has anything to add. Actually, this question is to both of you. Both of you have busy careers and family lives. Let's describe some activities that allow you to balance both, meaning how do you construct your day, calendar, do you time block? How do you handle managing everything?
So I live by my calendar. If you're not on my calendar, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I have the same response, and I don't have a busy family life.
It is actually color coded.
Oh, I love that. And I think that's important because you have personal and family. Okay.
Yes, so it has colors. It has my personal, my work, my son's activities, my husband's, but that's a little lighter. He's
Isn't it always?
and then anything that's family, like all of us need to go to or participate in. And so that helps a lot. My daily routine is I always carve out time for myself. My workout schedule, I meet with a trainer 3 days a week. And that's my appointment. Of course, things happen, and you have to reschedule, cancel or reschedule. But it's in my calendar those 3 days, so I know that I at least have that workout 3 days a week.
And you're an avid tennis player.
I am too, and so I do play tennis. And a lot of my things I do in the morning. So I wake up early. I do some work. I go do my activity and then I come back. And so maybe I'm done by, 10:30. And most people are just having their cup of coffee and really getting into their work time. And I've already been up since, 5:36.
Well, and I think that's a key too, is your day will start a little earlier when you have children and you've got to get them off to school and things like that. So.
It does. I mean, when they were younger, obviously now I have, one off in college and one, in high school. And my high schooler, he has to be, he plays tennis as well. And so he has practices early in the morning. So he starts early as well. So that's a positive thing for both of us. when they were younger, it was just structuring our nanny and when they were coming in and, their school day. So it was a little bit different. I would say also I got into real estate before they were born. And so they just kind of mirrored my life.
Yeah, because you've been doing this for 20 I didn't even realize you have been a
That's
realtor for
awesome.
22 years. My goodness.
Crazy.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Lisa, do you have anything to add to that? Like how you construct your day or did when you were working and had your kids?
When I was working and my kids were in college, they were all active in college. And so we had activities to go to. And so we just did the best we could, and just whatever happened with one child. And one day we would be with one child in one city and then another child in another city and then back. And then in the meantime, trying to work when you can. So that's what's so great about modern technology, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I will say when I was pregnant with my youngest, which is 15 years ago or 16 years ago. Yeah, I forget he's 16 now.
I forget how old I am sometimes. So there's that.
But I was on bed rest in the hospital, and I had clientele that did not even know. I had one client that didn't even know I was pregnant because I happened to find out she was pregnant. She couldn't start her search, just happened to be like timing where I would have delivered my son and everything. So we got together 2 weeks after both the kids were born. And she was like, I was telling her, when I first talked to her where I was, and she was like, you've got to be kidding. And so it's just modern technology, and I was able to do everything. And I had, people, that were able, and technology wasn't as, like it is today, obviously, but still we had, we could do FaceTime. I guess it wasn't Skype. Or I was like, what was it? It wasn't FaceTime. But I mean, that's actually how I communicated with my son, being able to see him at home when I was in the hospital. But, we had all the, those kind of things available still. So,
well, and I think and I don't want to go into the realtor business too much, like dissecting it, but some of the advantages that realtors have is you can get someone to go show houses for you. You can get someone to unlock a door. You can get someone to go put a sign in the yard. So if you need to offload a bunch of those types of tasks where you're just focused on getting the house sold or getting that buyer into a house, like getting the contract part done, getting them under contract, you can.
Oh, definitely.
Leverage is key.
And that's what
leverage is key.
Yeah, leverage is key.
When you asked some of the questions, I was thinking about it and all the things that you just said. If you need someone to write a contract, we have an amazing transaction coordinator. Our team is so amazing. Plus our office that we have, there's so many realtors up and to help. If you need somebody to show and you can't, or whatever the case may be, leverage is just key.
Well, and sometimes when you're a busy professional, they're going to want a little bit of money to go do whatever it is that you're asking. $50 to go put a sign in the yard, or I don't even know how much some of this stuff costs. But a lot of people look at it as like you're taking, oh my God, that's my commission, right? But when you're a busy professional,
right,
and you've got family duties and your professional duties, it does become necessary to sacrifice a little bit of something to help facilitate things to get them moving down the road.
Definitely. And I mean, things happen. I mean, life happens.
Right.
You get sick, you can't, you can't go out. You've got to, offset. And there's so many, in our, business and in our offices, a lot of newer agents that love doing some of these things too. It gives them some practice, especially when they're showing or even opening a door. Just, I've had that.
No, I'm glad to hear that because I have been hearing, kind of a little bit of the opposite. The new ones that are coming in the business, they don't want to hold an open house or they don't want to go unlock a door or whatever. No. But some of this is earning your stripes too, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, and it's a great way to earn a little side hustle money while you're trying to build your business. I don't think you should ever, as a new agent, turn down any real estate related opportunity.
Agreed.
I agree. And I have to go back been in the business for a long time, and people are always amazed when I tell them, some of my first properties were like $20,000 condos, and they're like, "What?"
And the leases there, you don't really take home much, right?
And I said yes, and it just happened at that time. At that time we did up calls, and I had an investor call, he was buying, now he didn't buy just one, he was buying 3 to 4 of those a month. And yeah, they weren't in the best part of town, but it was, I'd find them, he'd, contract on them, and they were all cash deals. But those were some of my first, sales. And, I took whatever came on my lap. If someone said, "Hey, will you do an open house?" I was there,
Right.
So
Agreed. Well, and renters become buyers.
Yes.
I think a lot of people forget that. Oh, I don't
If
want to
you keep up with them.
That's true. That's true.
Which I think, unfortunately, a lot of realtors don't keep up with
Right.
their past database,
But that's key too.
yeah,
There's fortune in the follow up.
right.
So
Yeah.
you have to.
I love that. There's
You have
fortune in the
to.
follow-up.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's steal
definitely.
that. Let's talk about what kind of support you have professionally, and we might have already touched on some of this because I know you referenced when the kids were small, you had someone coming in to help care for them. We've talked about leveraging or offloading some of the smaller, but still important duties that a realtor has to do from start to end. Do you have anything additional to add to like what kind of support you have professionally or personally to help you continue to be successful as you were building your business?
I think, a couple of things to, you yourself have to, and I'm real big about, spiritual growth. Every morning I read an affirmation, and I've gotten this great book. And what I do is I just randomly open a page of it, and that's my affirmation for the day. And it gives me that extra little something in the morning. I feel like everyone finds their own thing. Some people turn to the Bible and read their Bible verses, or, this for me is, it's a little bit different because it gives me that little kickstart that I need. It's kind of like that with my coffee.
Well, that's your mindset. It's your mindset for the day, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a big deal because if you're not going into the day correctly, we're salespeople, and we have to be ready to go and with our happy faces on. And,
and sometimes you wake up out of bed and you're like, I don't want to get out.
That might have been me a little bit this morning.
I know.
Even though I was very excited about the day. Lisa, what about you? Like what kind of support do you have or want to add to the conversation in that way? I know you have a husband that's in the business too.
Yes. And he's amazing. So he knows
what
he
your
knows,
day
he knows what he does that. And he's like, okay, we don't really need to talk about it every day, all the time, because he cuts it off too.
Right.
But he knows what it entails to be a realtor. And so he'll come with me on my open houses at times when I don't have another lender with me. And then he's just so supportive of everything. And then my children as well. So my children, all my life, all our married life, all their adult life, I took care of them. And now it's kind of like my turn, so to speak. And so they've been really supportive. And so when they were living here during COVID in the home, I had some that would pick up my signs for me, some that help with my pop buys, just encouragement. And, they're just awesome. And then our team, on the work side, like I said, our office and at Southlake, and then our team especially, it's so supportive of what we need and what we need to do. And
you have an amazing team leader that is very supportive.
Yes, Michael is amazing.
You tapped into something that I think is really interesting. Did I hear you correctly when you said your husband will cut you off, like to stop talking about the day?
Yes. And you talked about boundaries, and I'm learning boundaries because let's face it, as a realtor, we can work 24/7.
Oh, definitely.
And 25 hours.
And we can talk about it 24/7.
And we can.
And I'm not a realtor. I work in the title industry, but I find, I'm like calling one of my escrow officers. We're talking for 2 hours about all the things, sorting out all the things, and trying to, and it's hard to stop.
It is.
Mm-hmm. It's really hard to stop talking about it or working through it or chewing through it or whatever, right? I don't know. I feel like this is something specific to real estate, but maybe not.
Well, I think even when you're at a cocktail party, everyone knows that you're in real estate and they all want to, talk to you about it.
Yes.
So, which I'm always happy to. So you just continue to talk about it. It's no different than, I will say, a doctor. You see a doctor and the first thing
I got this thing on my arm.
It's the same. I had one time a conversation with my doctor, we were comparing, and there's a lot of parallels, because everyone, wants to talk to the doctor about something, just like everyone wants to talk about real estate. So,
well, and I'm not even a realtor, and my neighbors come to me to talk about, I was like, honey, your house is overpriced.
yeah, for sure.
I know you don't want to hear this, but you're going to price drop.
The boundaries are important, whether you start your day at a certain time or you end it at a certain time.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, modern technology, I love the
You're
automatic
phone, email, social media.
But the automatic send, the scheduled send for emails, scheduled send for text. There are a lot of things to do that you can get it off your mind so that you're not, what you said, thinking about it, rehearsing it, chewing it. Okay, what's going to happen? Is it going to fall through? Is it going to make appraisal? All the things. And so you get it off your plate. You send the email. It goes out, whatever time you schedule it. Hope nobody's listening to that. My other clients.
But I should have said that. They all know your secrets.
We've already talked about leveraging.
That's
it's
right.
Okay.
That's right.
It's
That's
okay.
right. That's right.
I think you just, it was so interesting because that was my next question, the one about boundaries, and you just really tapped into it. I think as professionals and people that really, really care about our business, you can talk about it, think about it, and do it nonstop, right? And technology is a blessing and a curse in that way because you can leverage technology to make things easier. But at the same time, you have to figure out, like, how do you wind down? How do you slow down at the end of the day? You know what I mean? Do you take, personal time or whatever it is? And your husband's not in real estate.
No, I mean, he's connected. He's a vendor in the mortgage business, but so he sees his business sees the same, trends of what's happening in the real estate, because they're busy when things are going great, and they're a little bit slower when things are not.
Yeah.
But it's I also think back to cutting off. Always be present. I think that's a thing.
That's great. I'm so glad you said that.
And I think I've learned that more. It's taken me a while. But now I'm, more about being present, turning your phone off, put it on silent. So you have that event with your kids or that dinner, I mean, of course we all like to, having one in college, I usually do have my phone, like, if we're at dinner there just in case, because I'm not,
because you're a mom.
But for sure.
But if it's not, I'm ignoring the emails and, until I get done with, I'm at this dinner with, whoever I'm there with or whatever I'm doing. And I think that makes a big deal.
That's why I like going to the Cowboys Club, because you cannot take a phone call in there and you cannot take a picture, right? You can text or email or whatever if you want to, but there are no phone calls allowed. And I think, while you could step outside on the balcony or whatever and take a photo, most people don't. And so, I mean, I've even had people put their phones in their purse and you never see that during the day, right?
Yeah.
So I wish more places would do that. I don't know that they would get away with it. I mean,
there are some places, but I think it's, society as a whole, I think we all need to do that. When we're with someone, if we're scheduling, we're also busy. So if we're scheduling a dinner or we're going to an event, we should be present with the people that were there because they've carved time to be with you. Right. And so again, it's something that I'm, really, learning to do more. And so it's not that I'm perfect by no means, but I just trying to, do that more and really enjoy, everything.
Being present.
Yeah.
I found putting the focus on your phone, where do not disturb, but I have our children on breakthrough because like you said, I have one in New York, I have, they're all out and spread out. And so if there's an emergency, how many times do I get, Mom, you didn't pick up my phone? Well, okay. If I can't, there's a reason, call your dad, but I have it on focus for that. So that if I'm in a meeting or like in here, I have it on focus.
That's a great,
it would
that's
break
a great
through
tool. Yeah. That's great advice.
if it was emergency.
So how do you guys, I mean, because you both have very busy schedules and family lives, how do you divide and conquer with your husband? Like, I'm sure that there are some things that your husband is more inclined to take care of, or you guys have discussed, how to divide and conquer your day or your week. do you guys want to share anything about how you guys work with your spouse to keep moving down the road with busy lives and busy schedules? You're smiling.
He's in charge of the kids.
He's in charge of the kids? Is that what you said?
I don't take him to school.
Okay.
That's the secrets. I don't pick him up. But he enjoys that. He focuses, my one son plays competitive tennis. He enjoys that. So he's in charge of, getting him to his tournaments. Of course, things happen and we have to, figure things out. But he's scheduled his calendar that he is going to take him there. And then I try and go to his matches. But of course, in tennis, it's not, he's playing at 8 and 11. I'll know the first one, and then who knows what's going to happen the rest of the time.
That's the tough part with tournaments.
But and I have, again, being present, I have done where he was playing in North Richland Hills. I had to get to McKinney, and then I came back from McKinney back to North Richland Hills just to be present for him. But in a lot of that, when they were younger, we needed more help. So we had, nannies and, child cares and stuff, as they got older, and especially my older one, when he got older, he was able to, help out because he was driving, and it made, it was a whole life change.
Sure. When they get the keys, it is a life change.
It was
for
a life
everybody.
change.
For everybody.
I mean, of course, I was nervous as anything because that's just how I am. But it was because he was able to help, and, they could go and they did the same activities, which was another plus. So I didn't have, two kids that were like my sister. She's got one that plays sports and one that's in marching band. So she's always they have to divide and conquer all the time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. For us, it would just depend on the child and what was happening with that person. When they were in college, one was a dancer, one played basketball, and then the other one was graduating. And of course, we went with them. But even now today, it depends on what's happening with that child. I have one in New York, so we were moving her back to New York, and I was with her at her last performance, and then Bert was able to go with her to New York. I couldn't go. I needed to get back to the dog and business, but he was able to go up there and stay with her for a couple of days and then come back. So, or vice versa. I can go and take something to another child or whatever they need. It just depends on the day and the schedule for us.
Okay.
But we work together.
yeah.
Well, and I think, that's an important part is the willingness of you guys to work together, right? It's not one doing all the heavy lifting while the other one's.
Oh,
Right.
for sure.
I mean, back in, my parents' time, it was the dad went to work and the mom did all
Oh,
this,
yeah.
And so I love that dynamic has changed.
Bert does a lot of the cooking.
Okay.
And he'll take care of dinner. Well, you look up and you do your day, and then you leave at noon, and then you may not get home till 6,
7.
7:30.
Yeah.
Wherever that case may be. And then you're like, if you hadn't planned, thank goodness for Instacart and and DoorDash.
Yeah.
But he's so good about, okay, what are we gonna do, or what do you have, or I got it, or I'll pick something up, because it's just the two of us now.
Right.
So thank goodness for modern technology, and Instacart's your friend.
Yeah.
For sure.
I absolutely enjoy Uber Eats now that it's up at my house. It took a long time.
Yeah.
I still don't have the rest of them, I don't think. But I mean, the moment I saw one of the neighbors with Uber Eats, I was like, how'd you do that? She's like, they come up to our house now. I'm like,
Which you never thought about. You thought you'd have to go out, but I guess that's one good thing about COVID too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting because as I get older, I find that, the statement is, I find that self-care is becoming more important. It should actually be, as I become older, my body is demanding that I do more self-care.
Yeah.
So I sustained a pretty heavy back injury 3 years ago. And so I live with chronic back pain.
Oh, gosh.
And so I had, it really put the brakes on my life for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And the super active lifestyle that I was used to living became extremely difficult. I'm in a very good place now. But it does require me to go to see a doctor every other week and a pain therapy masseuse every other week. So there's still a lot of high level of maintenance that goes on to keep me out of pain. And so, it's just interesting because when you get so busy, it's so hard to think about stopping, but then there are things that will make you stop if you don't stop.
Oh, definitely.
So
Definitely.
prioritizing self-care is more and more important. What do you guys do to take care of yourselves? And how do you prioritize that in conjunction with everything else that you have going on?
Well, I was talking to my husband last night, and like we were talking earlier, he's like, okay, so define self-care. What does that look like? For me, when I started, I was just go, go, go. And I'm now learning, like we talked about, I'm learning boundaries. I'm learning to stop and schedule appointments with myself, whether that's working out. I used to walk the dog 2-3 miles. He can't do that anymore. So learning how to do that, learning how to eat better and take better care of me for a myriad of reasons, not necessarily because of this job, but because, I want to be around my kids. I have one getting married in March, and then hopefully grandkids come down the road with everybody and have longevity of life. But also to be the best I can be because, you want to do business with someone who's in good health and
definitely.
Yeah. And that are taking care of themselves for sure.
They're going to take care of you.
Well, and you've kind of touched on this a little bit that you carve out your workout time. Yeah, right?
I carve out my workout time, and whatever I do, I set an appointment, and so I'll just set myself an appointment, and that's when I do it, and it's it's an appointment.
It is, and you're not being untruthful.
And I learned that from another agent is that she may be having a massage. She was like, it's an appointment. And she was like, it is a valid appointment. You've scheduled it with someone. It's an appointment. Yeah. And so that's how so I took it from her.
I like that mindset of once I set an appointment, it's an appointment. Doesn't matter.
Right. They don't need to know. Nobody needs to know.
No. I'm in a meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone asks, I'm in a meeting.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you don't need to disclose what it is that you're doing.
No. And I think so many people feel guilty is what it is. Especially, agents when they're first starting, they've had that guilt feel that, oh my goodness, if I don't run right now,
guilty.
then I'm going to lose it. No, you're not. You're again setting boundaries, and you're actually setting boundaries for yourself. You're setting yourself, and knowing that you've also have an appointment that you've made with someone else. To think about you canceling say if you scheduled everything and your client canceled on you, that's no different than you just set an appointment with say your massage therapist, and now you're canceling at the last minute. So
that's good.
The respect.
I think one of the things that helped me prioritize is my doctor was like, it's going to take 3 months for you to get back in if you cancel. I'll find
that time.
Especially when you get older, you have hormone deficiencies, and and I get my escrow team and it was really difficult, especially the last 2.5-3 years as we were working through COVID and post-COVID and the real estate boom that happened here, which we will see some more of that. We won't see that again, but we'll see some more of that. And everybody was like, their hair's on fire and they're running around as 30 offers with a buyer before you find a house. And my escrow team is working 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, 18 hours a day. And so appointments like that just got completely negated. And one of my escrow officers, she's like, I haven't gone and gotten and this is a women's conversation, so we can talk about this, but I haven't gone and gotten my pellets, right? And I'm like, girl, you're not going to be able to keep going down the road, because we have, as women, when we get older, hormone deficiencies that are very real, okay? Yeah. And if you don't take care of yourself and keep up with those kinds of appointments, it has devastating repercussions on your physical person, right?
Oh, definitely.
And so you're exhausted and you don't know why. And, then it affects all kinds of other things. So I think, that was one of the conversations I had yesterday with my doctor, because I had to go and they were like, okay, it's gonna be 3 months before you get in. I'm like, well, I need them every 3 months. So we're scheduling an appointment right now. I'm not canceling that appointment.
Yeah. Because you're right, because that affects everything. It affects your mindset. It affects your energy to go and do the things that you need to do. And to function.
But it doesn't even have to be something that complicated or devastating.
No.
It can be, I need to get my nails done because I have to look like a professional when I go see my
Yeah,
clients.
get your hair done, get your nails done, go find a new outfit or, whatever it is that you need to do to
Get your oil changed
that's
so
your
you won't,
job.
so you don't break down on the side of the road trying to go get a new listing.
We're walking resumes, right?
Yes, we are. Oh, I love how she said that. We are
Yes.
walking resumes. And someone told me a long time ago, you dress for the business that you want, not the business that you have.
Yes.
Yep.
And so I came to play. Okay. So when I show up, I better be looking on point and ready to go because I want you to know that I'm serious about getting that relationship with you. Right.
Definitely.
And if you aren't taking care of yourself and you look like you haven't taken care of yourself, it doesn't look like the people that you're meeting, that you're serious about a relationship with them.
Right.
So I don't think it has to be too over the top, but get your roots done. All right. So kind of last question, we're going to wrap up. Before we do you guys have any advice to women trying to keep up with their successful marriage, family life, and create a profitable career in real estate that we haven't talked about already? I mean, we've discussed mindset and using your calendar and time blocking and all of those things.
I think it's time management. I mean, it's a time management. And to just, to create that balance, because I think when you see it in your calendar, and especially like Keller could, I actually see, okay, what's actually going on. And, is there something, do I have, what's heavy and what do I need to do for that day? Or, do I need to move something around because I need to accommodate something else that is important for me to be there?
Okay. Lisa, do you have any last minute advice?
I would say know your why. Know why you got into
I thought
this.
you said wine.
Yeah.
I was like, I know my wine.
That too. That's another podcast.
I swear she said wine. I was like, I got a girl.
Know your why.
Yes. Know your why.
That's that southern Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana accent coming out. Know your why. Why did you get in this business? Why are you doing that? And that will take you back to, okay, I did it to be with my family and to be a blessing for my family and to help them and retirement. We're not getting any younger. And so why do I want to do that? I want to be with my husband. I want to be with my kids. And so that's more important than that. But that helps me with this, with my family. So I think it's knowing your why and why you're doing this business.
Okay. I like that. And know your wine.
And your wine.
Yes.
You wouldn't be a realtor, right?
Maybe that at the end of the day, that may be your wind down.
I think that's a great place to stop for today, ladies. So thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure to have you guys on. I love this podcast. I actually was thinking, I should do more of these like women interaction podcasts because I think that we have so much to talk about and help each other with, right?
Definitely.
And so I think we'll be trying to work on another one of these. And besides, it was just kind of fun.
It was very fun. Thank you so much.
Iron sharpens iron,
Amen,
right?
sis. I love that saying. You've had some really good sayings today. So I like that.
I'm all out now. So it's time to go.
That was it. Well, thank you again for joining us on another episode. Again, I'm your host, Tamara Gady. If you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So let's get a conversation going about your title needs and make it a great day.